Hello, we are live. This is the GreatHER Purpose Podcast, and I am Shar Nicole, your host. And today we have a guest that I am so honored to have on today's show today. She is an entrepreneur, leader, visionary, faith-based woman, and CEO of Boss LLC, Rosalyn Hedgepeth. Her brand, hey, how are you? And I got my shirt on today just to show you.
Yes, me too. Awesome. Yes, thank you for
Gotta support. No problem. Boss LLC is her brand that not only serves as a platform that explores opportunities to increase women's financial status, but their own self-worth by tackling topics such as managing business finances, mental health, and optimizing. No matter where a millennial woman is in her journey, she will be inspired to research an additional stream of income, increase the profitability of her own business, or believe in herself and her potential after each webinar. Welcome to the show, Ms. Rosalyn. It is an honor to have you.
Yes, thank you. Happy to be here.
Awesome. So first to begin, I was mentioning before I got your shirt on, and we'll talk about Boss LLC. I think that's how I found you. I love t-shirts. And so I think I found it on Instagram somewhere. And I was like, oh my God, I have to talk to her. So first to begin, I want to ask you a little bit about your background and what brought you or what made you envision your Boss LLC brand.
For sure. So honestly, I'm a military brat mixed with a PK, mixed with a Southern Belle. And I just had a tenacity growing up where if I was second in class, I wanted to be number one in class, and I would figure out and create a plan to be the number one student, be the person elected for the presidential office, be that person. And that tenacity helped me out in college. That tenacity helped me land that dream job with a Fortune 50 company and now be a manager at Microsoft. So, coupling all those things, the businesses that I started, still maintaining and promoting my femininity, a lot of women they gravitated toward that, as well as not being ashamed of my belief, me believing in God, me submitting to a higher power. All those things, my tribe naturally formed, and we're here.
Well, I definitely have been keeping up with you on social media. You are definitely a woman of faith, and I love how you incorporate that in everything that you do. I wanted to ask you, when did you realize your greater purpose, and how can others find theirs?
I realized my GreatHER Purpose. It was the first real event that my nonprofit did, Project We Care. I love Project We Care. That really is a passion project. Over the last 6-7 years, we've been able to feed over 1,000 people, renovate a school in West End of Atlanta. We've been able to mentor over 400 youth. But I have to brag on it because we've been even able to get sponsorships from GE, UPS, Comcast, all these great things. But it started with that first event. We were in a room, 20 girls. It wasn't the 1,000, it wasn't the 200, all those important numbers hadn't happened yet. And that's where I had that purpose awakening moment. I was sitting there seeing the young girls being impacted, seeing their posture change, seeing them start to believe in themselves. And in that moment, I knew there was no other place that I should be. I was sick. The weather was changing. It got me down. We had to change the venue the same day. But no matter what happened, I was where I was supposed to be. For you, that might be art. For you, that might be creating. For you, that might be working at your actual job. Like, you don't know, it could be anything. Just be open to that moment of peace where you know you're where you belong.
And you brought up a very valid point, that peace. If it stresses you out, it may not be your purpose.
Okay, listen.
So what advice would you give young women who may be on a journey of finding their inner pretty boss?
Yeah, it's so many levels to it. I love that, finding your inner pretty boss. There's two parts to it. There's the pretty and then there's the boss. So with the pretty piece, you have to realize that makeup is only enhancing what's already there. I did freelance makeup for a long time, and I realized some of the not most attractive people like are so beautiful because their insides shine so great. And there were some of the most typically beautiful people, honey, when I tell you, no makeup that I could put on them would make them because their attitudes were so bad. No matter how much highlight, mascara, I could put the longest mink eyelashes on them. It's just something just didn't feel right and didn't sit right. So the first part to identifying the inner pretty boss is knowing how beautiful you are, being content with yourself, being content with those quirks. I'm a nerd and I'm content with that. I'm at peace with that. Being okay with those insecure things that you have going on, coming at peace with that. Then the boss, don't let no's intimidate you. Like, that you have to have a tenacity. That's one of my words for this year is I have to fight back. You have to push back sometimes. And that's where really you get that boss.
I love that. So speaking of pretty boss, can you tell us how you came up with the name and how that all started? I have an idea, but I'll let you talk about it.
Well,
I did my research.
It was interesting because, I think it was in the making for a while, but even in college, I would have people would meet me and they would be like, oh, she's pretty, she has a great personality. And then, they find out I majored in accounting, or they found out that I worked for a GE or for a UPS. And they're like, really? Like, it was a surprise. And I'm like, what? We can do both. We can be beautiful and smart, beautiful and courageous, slay and pray. Like, we can do all those things. And I was like, you know what? We need a platform that normalizes being a pretty boss. And yeah, it came naturally. I'm an AKA, and yeah, it worked out.
Well, I think it fits perfectly because, like I told you, like you have such a beautiful spirit and energy, and I think people can really learn a lot about that because, like you said, when people think of beauty, they don't always attribute intelligence with it. And the thing is that you can be both. I mean, I've met some beautiful women that are just as smart as ever, and I don't know where that stigma comes from, but when I was looking at your website and I saw these other pretty bosses with you, I'm like, well, not only is she a pretty boss, but she's bringing other bosses with her and she's sharing that. And I think as women, sometimes we need to keep that in mind that we need to celebrate each other in our different, things of beauty, different versions of beauty. But with that being said, like I said, you have such a positive and vibrant energy about yourself. And with you being a woman of faith, how do you deal with those challenges that may come with being a pretty boss? Or a boss in general?
Yeah, no, it's real. There's times where, I have to lean on God, period, right? But then I have a board of directors, some friends that I keep close and near and dear to my heart that are also faith centered that can I like to just to do like a crazy check, if you will. Like, hey, let me know if I'm crazy. This happened at work. And I don't know if the person was trying me or am I wrong? And it gets to level set, like level the playing field on, okay, no, that's actually a good deal, Rosalyn. You're just tripping. You want it all. Or no, actually they did try you, but you know, you can't snap back at them if you want to. And those things are so important. If I didn't have a board of directors, I would have messed up so many situations. And then, I mean, even in my personal life, like my board of directors for my relationship, it's my mom, it's my other mentor, Mama Sean. There's times where I'm like, hey, this is something new for me. But y'all have been in these long relationships and marriages, and I need to lean on you. I need some mother wisdom. So I have different boards of directors for different parts of my life. And that helps.
And I agree with you with that, because it's somewhat like having accountability partners that kind of pull your coattail when you're going too far. Because I'm the same way. I surround myself with people that are not just yes people.
Mhm.
And I think, a lot when I started building this platform, that was the first thing I started out with, is that if you want to know your greater purpose, you have to surround yourself with people that are going to hold you accountable, so that you don't get out there looking crazy or overreacting.
Yeah, yeah. And you see a lot of people that do have yes people around them, and you see where that lands them.
Yeah.
I don't know Kanye's life. I don't know the ins and outs, but I would assume that there's some yes people around there.
Right. I agree. And you see that a lot with celebrities. You really
Yeah.
do. What advice would you give your younger self?
Don't underestimate momentum. Once you have people that see your value, and it's momentum is so powerful. You just got to keep building upon it. That's why so many and so many great things have come out of my businesses. I've just built upon the momentum. Like, uh, we didn't feed 1,000 people in one day. No, we literally started off, girls, so humble, walking down the streets of Atlanta, walking down the streets of Charlotte, giving out one PB&J at a time. And what happened was people saw it. They were ignited by it. Something in them was ignited. And they said, I want to feed the homeless with you. So you just have to build upon that momentum, follow up. When people say they want to connect with you, when they want to build with you, have them come along. The events that we were able to do before the pandemic, we're going to start them back up. But the momentum from those were amazing. First event 10, next event 20, next event 50, next event 100. But that's momentum.
And I think also with you sharing your knowledge and your experiences with people. So I was looking at some of your videos, and you definitely are anointed to have a gift now. Like, you really do.
Thank you.
How can people learn more about you and the Pretty Boss brand?
Follow me on Pretty Boss LLC. I give makeup tips. I give business tips. You can subscribe. I give out freebies. We have great product line, which covers all of that. And then if you want to see the more personal side of a Pretty Boss, you can follow my personal page. But I love our group. We even have a group on Facebook, Pretty Bosses. And I love it because there's over 1,000 women sharing their businesses, asking real life questions, anything from a recipe to how do I handle this situation at work? And I love it. It's a true community.
Was there anything else you want to add to the listeners about Pretty Boss and your brand and your vision for where you see Pretty Boss going in the next few years?
For sure. So I've shared with you 2 of my 3 words for the year. The first one was tenacity. The next one was momentum. And those 2 words are super important. But my third word for the year is activate. There's so many giftings inside of each of us, and we have to just take the time to activate it. We have all binge watched Tiger King and all of the shows on Netflix. I've done it too, but it's time to maybe just take a pause on that and activate your purpose. Activate the great her part of you. And you will be surprised if you just get a little tenacious, the momentum that will come from that.
Well, thank you so much, Ms. Rosalyn. I will definitely keep it up with you and all the great things you're doing to empower women and to walk in your purpose. And I just appreciate you for your time. I know you're busy, but thank you so much for being on the platform today. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. You have a good day.
Thank you.